Unscripted.
Sony has done a very good job of staying both progressive and very much in front of what Microsoft is doing in terms of the video game industry. A lot of people, I think, not a lot of people, but I think probably a lot of pundits and Xbox influencers want to act like perhaps, Xbox is so far ahead of the game and, they're doing things, they're playing chess and Sony's playing checkers. I really kind of look at it as a different way. I've always looked at what Sony is doing is definitely, doing what gamers tend to have been wanting for a very long time, which is, very much paying attention to the industry and how the industry is moving and stuff like that. And that's probably the smartest thing that they can do. You know what I mean? I feel like what they've been able to accomplish has been nothing short of amazing, and it continues to kind of blow my mind when we start to see like all these numbers and stuff like that. And I do feel like they they have earned like this level of respect and kind of gratitude from the gaming world as a whole, and that's something that you can't really kind of take too lightly, because they really do listen and they really do kind of pay attention to what fans are asking for, and that's something that really is a very much a game changer as far as I can tell. The way that they've been able to kind of do what they can do, and despite the fact that, listen, I know people might want to look at Sony as like the giant or the Goliath in the David versus Goliath kind of matchup, but the reality of it is Microsoft is really the Goliath. Microsoft is the company that goes out there and and does and can basically afford to do whatever they want. And I think that that's the biggest sort of difference between what Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo or all these companies are doing. Microsoft is the big bad here. Microsoft is the kind of the outsider sort of looking in, and I never really saw it that way years ago when I was like a true blue Xbox fan. So don't get me wrong, I really want Xbox to succeed. It's just I feel like Xbox tries to maybe change too much or try to get things to kind of conform to their will a little bit too well, and I'm not really a big fan of that, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I feel like there's a better way and there's better options and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll see Microsoft change some things around. But this is pretty incredible what we've seen what Sony do, and this is something that usually you would see maybe sort of that Microsoft might do, but this is really interesting, and I know a lot of people are going to be excited by this, so I want to get started. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out a little crappy channel like mine, the best way to do it, a simple like. It goes a long way. It's free for you guys to do, but I do want to say that YouTube doesn't really send out a lot of my notifications anymore, so if you guys wouldn't mind, please go ahead and hit the bell and hit that you want to be notified for all the content when it drops, because that's very important. With that being said, shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. You guys are amazing and much appreciated in these parts, so thank you guys so much for always rocking out with me and just being so kind and helpful and stuff like this. So this was something that I thought was very, very cool. This new thing that just came out, I'm going to link this in the description. You guys can check it out. Sony AI could actually change the way games balance enemies and the difficulties as well. This is a brand new patent by Sony. Sony submits a patent detailing the use of AI learning to balance video game difficulty in real time, potentially changing video game fundamentals. New ideas about the future of video games are always very interesting, and one of the best places to find these new ideas is in a recently registered patents. A new patent from Sony details its potential plans for handling difficulties in video games, titled Use of Machine Learning to Increase or Decrease Level of Difficulty in Beating Video Game Opponents. That name's a bit of a mouthful, obviously, but it essentially is a form of reactive difficulty. As players progress through a game, the enemies and bosses will get stronger or weaker to accommodate the player's level of skill. If done well, this would ensure that the game is challenging for all players. It should be said that it takes quite some time for a patent to eventually come to reality, but there also is a lot of this machine learning and stuff like that already involved in the PlayStation 5, so players maybe wouldn't expect to see this high level of new idea anytime soon. It's still not a bad idea to keep a close eye on development, as it could drastically alter how difficulty is handled in video games moving forward. Like for me personally, I know there's a lot of jokes and stuff like, oh well, he always plays everything on easy. Not really the case. Usually I'll start it off on whatever it starts you off on. so normal or whatever. It just really kind of depends on the game or what I'm kind of in the mood for, depending on what I'll actually go for in terms of the level of difficulty and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not always as kind of cut and dry as what one might believe or what somebody might kind of think out there. So I always kind of like take things a little bit differently, but this patent actually gives several different variations on how the process could work. But the main idea is that players will have to choose or have a choice to actually opt into adjustable difficulty when you start a game. So they're not going to take away your choice to do, you know, easy, medium, hard, ultra hard, or whatever it is. It can either adjust the difficulty of AI enemies or only the bosses of levels, and it will react to the player's performance. Now, if the players perform well, the enemies will get more difficult to compensate, whereas those that are struggling will find weaker enemies blocking their path. It's a notion of difficulty seems to be more complex than just increasing health and damage, as the AI would be capable of coding new attack patterns for enemies as well. And they actually do a very nice job of explaining it in this kind of diagram that's here, so I'm going to link that as well. I really like the way that they kind of level this out and kind of explain it in sort of this diagram, and I'm going to link this in the description, and you guys can all kind of check it out and let me know what you think, because I think it's really fascinating the way that they've done this, and if it works right, it could really change the way that gaming is kind of done so far in terms of what we can expect from just like the difficulties and more from the games. I think that they've done a fantastic job. You know, and I really got to say that this is something that, like I said, you maybe would expect from Microsoft, a little bit more from Sony, but the fact that Sony are on top of this really makes it very much interesting and pretty incredible to see it. So the type of reactive difficulty isn't necessarily something new, but it's never been used to this level before. Like Mario Kart is a classic example of this principle in action. If a player at the back of the pack, the game is a bit easier for them because they will get all the best power-ups available. By contrast, those that perform well and manage to stay in first place will have access to much more limited array of items. Sony's AI would take this concept to the next level. Now, the AI would be capable of adjusting rewards as well, giving players that defeat higher difficulty enemies better rewards. There's also mention of adjusting difficulty based on the performance of different groups, meaning it may not be based on just one player's skill, but the skill of all players globally. The possibilities are nearly endless, and if Sony can create something like this, so hopefully this feature can be implemented sooner rather than later. It sounds really, really cool and very interesting as well, like state-of-the-art, next-gen, ultra high-end stuff that I think a lot of people would definitely really kind of use it. You know, I love this. I love the fact that this is something that most people can really kind of get next to and kind of understand what's going on with this. They've done a really good job with sort of parading the PlayStation 5 out there, and I love what the PlayStation 5 has been capable of so far, but imagine if they were able to sort of get even more out of this thing as time goes along, and you know, we could have the option to opt into something like this. Then like imagine I know a lot of people, I'm just going to use this for an example, and I'll get probably some hate for it, but imagine like the Dark Souls games or Demon Souls or what have you, and if this actually allowed it to sort of make it a little bit easier for you or something like that, I think it will maybe open up that franchise for, you know, a totally different type of player and number of players and things like that. So this is very much something to kind of keep an eye on and to definitely keep you know, keep watching on, because I'm sure that Microsoft will probably try something similar down the line. It just makes sense to have like all these options, and both these companies really try to push that whole narrative that they're there for like every type of gamer, and they're not inclusive, and you're non-exclusive, excuse me, but inclusive to everybody and things like that. So I think that that would be very smart to really you know, kind of employ that aspect for gamers everywhere. Again, just very smart move by Microsoft, and or excuse me, by Sony, and I would assume Microsoft would try to kind of follow suit or whatever, because this does seem, like I said, more up their alley a little bit. But yeah, nice to see that. And again, this could really revolutionize the way that we all play games as fans. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm all for kind of positive changes that can bring possibly more people into gaming, because you know, gaming is just really, it's just a lot of fun. It's just something that I feel like everybody should be able to do, and I think it kind of eliminates some of that barrier there, depending on what type of game you want to play. For me personally, like, you know, I pretty much like to play any type of game, but you know, this would really, I think, help and kind of do a lot of things that are needed to help, you know, a lot of other people be able to go out there and enjoy the type of games that they want to go out there and enjoy. So really would appreciate your guys' feedback and thoughts on this. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at @the_Crapgamer, if you want to hit me up on PSN, just Crapgamer, Xbox Live, MOH Space Crapgamer, and I try to get back to everybody as quickly as possible, but you know, sometimes that doesn't happen, but I will eventually get back to everyone. Thank you guys very much for checking out another one of my videos. Like I said, please hit the like button, consider subscribing if you haven't already done so already, and I will catch you next time. Please all stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Have a fantastic night. Thanks for watching. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.